guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chris Moore, and in today's video, we got a different one on the dyno. Yeah, that's right, guys. 2022 Triumph 1200 Speed Triple RR. There's a lot of words to this thing. Speed Triple 1200 RR. This thing, super clean, super nice, 2022 model, single-sided swing arm, race fit, titanium, slip-on exhaust, and a Sprint air filter. I was looking through the ECU on this thing already, and it has crazy restrictions in the ECU. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm gonna show you that here in just a second. We're gonna get rid of all that stuff today and make this thing ride smoother and be a lot faster. Here we go, guys. So the customer has brought this thing to us for one, wanting more horsepower, but two, he says this thing is super choppy on and off the throttle. In other words, when he's cruising, he's just trying to maintain speed, lets off the throttle, boom, it nosedives, give it gas, boom, throws your head back and takes off. So we're gonna try to smooth all that out today. The air-fuel ratio on these things, super lean cruising around, and then they actually go too rich running wide open. Now that's how it's set up with the stock exhaust system. Now that the customer has put this race fit titanium slip on, as you can see, she's a very free flowing exhaust. So anytime we add more air, we gotta add more fuel to smooth this thing out. We're gonna be doing all that today in our ECU Flash. Let's go ahead, fire it up, get started, and see what kind of results we got in stock form. Then we're gonna start our modification process. And I gotta hold the clutch in. Let's take a look at the results now. I forgot to delete our blue line here. This is from a bike I did yesterday. We're gonna delete that one off right quick, disregard it. And we ended up with 159 horsepower and 86 foot-pounds of torque. So 86 is pretty good, but you can see this thing is still steadily pulling, and then boom, nothing. So that tells us right there we can extend all that a little bit, get us some more horsepower. Give me just a second, let me work with this ECU and show you what we got going on inside. Check this out. So I've got Woolwich Racing pulled up. This is the tuning software we use to be able to make adjustments to this thing. And you can see here, I've got our electronic throttle valve, okay? So this is how much throttle the ECU is giving the bike. So you're giving it 100%, which is these numbers up here. This is how much your hand is doing. This is how much the ECU is doing. So you can see here we're in map 1, which is gonna be our lower gears. And this thing is limited to 40% throttle. 40%, what are you supposed to do with that? Well, you're not gonna do any wheelies or anything cool, I can tell you that. Then you can see when we go to map 2, it jumps up to 100%, but then here at 11,000 RPMs cuts back to 90. And then as we go higher in the maps, they start 3's the same. And then when we go to 4, you can see that it actually cuts back again. So what does all this stuff mean? Actually, 4 is incorrect. That's all zeros. We're gonna make adjustments to this thing. We're gonna get some more power out of it and see what we can do in this speed triple. So the ECU is flashing right now. We're getting rid of all the pesky restrictions. And just for fun, I went ahead and pulled up I guess you would say it's a competitor to this bike. So the red line is our Triumph. The blue line is a Yamaha MT-10, a 2024, okay? So a little newer bike, totally different style engine. This is a 4-cylinder engine with a cross-plane crankshaft in an inline 4 engine versus this 3-cylinder. Take a look at our torque differences. What I was impressed with by this bike, made 159 horsepower, which this made 150 horsepower. We got 200 more cc's, of course, but the torque on this thing, 86 foot-pounds of torque, that's a lot. That's more than a GSX-R 1000. Now, that's not as much as something like a Hayabusa. Either way, this thing should be a very fast bike on the street. Here we go, guys. ECU is flashed. I've already made a pull or two without you. The thing is performing really nice. We're working on getting the fuel curve smoothed out. We're not finished with that, but I just want you to hear how much better this thing sounds now that we got all the restrictions off, and it keeps on pulling, boys. We haven't got to our final horsepower, but I'm really liking what we're seeing so far. Nice gains. I'll pull up the original here in just a minute, but 167.81 horsepower, 87 foot-pounds of torque, guys. That is big numbers out of this thing. I know it's got to be insanely fun to ride. Keep in mind, this thing is a 3-cylinder. We only got 3 exhaust pipes down there. It's sort of similar to a MT-09 Yamaha, but just a much bigger and more powerful engine. I got the fuel curve looking really straight now. You can see the red and green line. That's looking really good. Now we're going to start to play with ignition timing and see if we can find some more horsepower. Here we go, boys. We're almost finished. I'm very happy with the numbers. I got the before and after coming up here in just a second. thing turned out to be an absolute animal. 176 horsepower, 90, almost 91 foot-pounds of torque. Let's go over here and look at our graph, and I guess you would say have it overlaid with the original. We are going to make this easy for everyone to see. We're going to delete this, and then we're going to make this one red so you can see it clearly. And you can see red is our beginning number, and then blue is our after number. So overall, super big gains right here at, what's that, 10,500 RPMs. We went from 159 to 171 horsepower, 172 basically. And then you can see up here when our restrictions really kick in at 11,000 RPMs, we're at 128 horsepower and 174, might as well call it 175 horsepower. Power curve very nice and smooth, torque curve very nice and smooth, and all this stuff was done with just a slip-on exhaust, guys. So literally the modifications very slim to minimum. Now if you have one of these and you want to get your ECU Flashed, let me show you where it's at. You do have to remove it in order to send it in, but the ECU is basically located right there. You can see that gray plug, and that is it. It goes all the way across the bike. There's, I think, 3 plugs that hold it in. You'll just lift your tank up, pop your ECU out. You can send it to us, mooremafia.com. There's a ECU flashing page on the website. There is a video that will pop up on that page. Watch that video that explains all the options and details for how to send it in, how to get it done, how to hook your Triumph up to what it's supposed to be from the factory. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. We'll see you next time.